Okay, this is gonna be my next model. Hint, it's not a pair of Nike sneakers. The story of this model is that a friend of mine years ago mentioned that his wife liked classic cars. So she actually went out and bought a model of a plastic car, and then she was going to build it herself and all that. And I kind of forgot about the story because I wasn't really much into models back then. I was building, one every few years or so. But I never forgot it, and at one point recently, I asked him, whatever happened to that model? What kind of model was it? How did it turn out and all that? And he confessed to me that when she looked at the model itself, she thought it was a little too daunting to build, so she never built it. So what he asked me to do is say, well, maybe you want to build it. And I said, sure, a plastic model. I'll have fun with it. Give it to me, and I'll build it for you. So the next time we met up, he gave me this box, and I opened it up, and the first thing I noticed was, it's a Testors kit, great, but it is all metal die-cast, mostly already, pre-painted, the body especially. It's got opening doors and hood, trunks, and everything. Really, really nice. Now, the good news was I wasn't going to have to do a lot of painting and didn't have to worry about giving a nice finished car in the end. But also a little bit of a concern because there's some, metal to metal gluing that I'll have to be doing for that. And the glue that Testors call out in the instructions is one of the Testors metal, wood, cement glues that, long out of production. So I can't get my hands on that stuff. I think I'm okay with using CA glue or maybe some other things like JB Weld. So I'll have to try that. That's my only concern right now is the glue. I did a little research on this kit, and the funny thing is I couldn't find it in the ScaleMate site, which is a great database for all these models. I looked it up based on the Testors, the title, even the number itself. I did find another Gold Series car, but not this one that was in the database. But a little bit strange. I also looked for, the box cover because I didn't have the box to see, what kind of box this came in. And even more oddly, I found something very similar to this. Well, the 57 Chevy Bel Air, but it wasn't red. It was kind of or red, orange, tangerine here. It was yellow, so very strange that I couldn't find the original box art. I did find one link to a not very good quality image of a box that I believe this one was originally came in, and I think it was actually a blister pack. Not an actual box. You know how sometimes they put them in a blister pack. So I looked at it. I did ask what kind of interior he wanted or he thought she wanted. And it was a common classic red, which again, a lot of it is already molded in the red. So again, less painting for me. However, I will have to do things like the seats where it was a combination of red and black. So not too much of a problem. And, give this a bit more of a shine, I think. But we'll see. And again, it all comes down to the glue and how that works out. Oh, one other thing I noticed, somebody had started this kit. I don't know if it was her or somebody else, and they used this, poly cement, which wasn't going to work with the metal. So got a little glue on the glass, but nothing I can't buff out over here. And we'll see what glues I have that hopefully do work. Okay, I can see why somebody kind of gave up on this kit. It is not the best. While the exterior looks, beautiful and everything, when it comes to detail in the interior, it's just not there. This is the whole motor over here, and even with this, if you look at, let's say, the fan, like there's just really no detail in that fan at all. So I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna be able to color some of this stuff as metallic so that the belts look like they're going around pulleys and things like that. But there's a limit to what I can do here. I also noticed there's already The paint job, I don't know if it's from the manufacturer. It's already a little, splotchy. It's the orange, so it must have been part of the manufacturing, because I see a few splotches here and there, and there's a few places where it's, you can see little scruffs and things like that. I don't know if you can see that right on top of the door. Again, I'm gonna do my best. We'll see about that. The biggest issue I have also is, like, even in the interior here, look at, I mean, the lack of detail on this plastic, and it's because it's this very thick plastic. Like this over here is actually, the bendable plastic. It's not stiff styrene, so I can't even really carve into it or file it down nicely, because then it becomes like lumpy and gooey if you try to file that down. So you can do some with, a blade to give it some definition, but I'll be very limited to what I can do. The biggest problem so far is, which is again somebody who already discovered this as they tried to build it, when they had that glue there, I was able to buff out the glue that was there mostly, but I can see right now there's an issue where the front can look pretty much aligned, although not perfect, and the back is a bigger issue where you can see one corner, it's kind of droopy. Now the problem here is that this is metal, it's got no give whatsoever, and even this glass, the clear plastic, is very, very thick. So I'm hesitant to do things like, try to heat it up to get it into place. I think, it'll fit as is, as you see it right now, and it's, not the best, but I think it's as best I can do. What I'm going to try to do is clamp that corner in there and then try to apply some glue. But again, this thing has no lip where you can say, okay, this sits here and it, grabs into it. It's just, one piece sitting on top of another. So you really can't glue that in. I'm going to try my best to do with the JB Weld and see what I could do while it's clamped, but I have a feeling that I'm never going to get this thing right in that corner wedged up against the top. So again, not perfect. I think this is the kind of quality you see really with die-cast cars when you look at them really close. So anyhow, the only other thing I'm going to do is, again, using some of the reference photos I was sent, I think I'm going to keep this, mostly red, just black accents on the seats over here, and make the carpeting black, and probably the trunk black over here. That's all I can do for now. Okay, moving right along. You probably noticed in the last segment that I had the steering wheel done, and this came out really, really, really nice. It looks perfect. Actually, I was using like 30-year-old Testors enamel paint for that, but I don't use it too often, but every now and then it does exactly what you want, and in this case, it fit the bill. I did end up getting the windshield in with some JB Weld. Chose my spots carefully where I want to put it, and it's not perfect. I mean, there is still that little seam I mentioned last time. I could not get rid of it completely, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. And although there's gaps over here, you really don't see them because of the thick glass unless you really, look for them. I couldn't do anything about those gaps either. So a few other things. I did some, started up using the reference photos my friend sent of what type of interior he wanted. Did some black on the carpeting and the trunk, and the black and red he wanted for the interior over here. And then I shot, some future to gloss up where there was supposed to be leather. So you see the seats over here where I painted in black, and then shot them up with some future. Looks decent, good enough. Put a little panel line accent on the motor. Have the motor in there, and did a bit of dry wash, not dry washing, washes on the dash to get some of the. There seems like compartments and things like that, and I put 2 little dabs for knobs and things like that. So other than that, I put Molotov on the chrome on the handle so that they come out okay, and you can look like handles again. And that's pretty much it for now. Moving along. Okay, aside from the mirrors and the license plate, we're getting to the end over here. I just want to mention a few things. This was a sealed bag with the screws in there. And if I'm looking at these, I got 6 screws these size, 3 of these, and 1 of these. Like, it doesn't really match up with the screws, the only screws that are needed, which is in this last step, step 5 over here. I also noticed that there's only 1 self-tapping screw, and the others are not, and yet there are, these there's no screw points in here. Basically, you're gonna have to make your own threads. So we'll see how that goes. On the nice side is I noticed that the steering wheel is supposed to be movable with this piece over here. Actually, it bends over this way, and then the end of the steering wheel goes into that slot, so it's will supposedly move the cars, the wheels. But this last step is quite tricky. I've been placing things over it to see how they fit in there. Some things are obvious, some things are not, but really close to the end now. All right, we're at the end here, and Houston, we have a problem. The very, very last piece I put on was this mirror, and you can see the problem right away. There's that huge, the hole doesn't really fit the fittings for the mirror itself, so there is a huge gap on both sides there, and that's the piece. It's nothing like was cut off the sprue incorrectly or anything. It has to be that way, and it's fit in, it's snapped in there, it's snug and tight, but it looks terrible. So I have a few options over here. One thing I was thinking of doing is using this stuff over here. This is for vents, and it's foil. It's very thick, and it has really good adhesion. It sticks when you peel off the backing over here. And what I did is I cut off a little strip over here, and then using a stencil to see what the best diameter is, to see if I can make this little sliver over here. Just give me a second. If you can see that there, and to fit it right under there, and it kind of blends in, not perfectly. You'll see, if somebody looks closely, they'll see that something was taped there. But that's one option. Another thing I can try to do is put some putty over there, and then using the monochrome pen to reapply a chrome. But I know right now that it's not a perfect match with the chrome. Like, you do see a difference. And then again, how good can I putty that up? I'd have to mask around it. Different putties I can use, and try to minimize it, really basically to just fill in the gap there. So I don't know, I'm gonna mull this one over, but aside from that, the car is built. You can see the steering wheel kind of works. There's not much play in the wheels, but they do turn if you get in there. Managed to put the right screws as needed. Got the spares and things like that. You can see I did a little painting on the bottom over here, not too much. So I'll come back and show the final result once I sleep over on that one. Okay, this time we're really done. Because I mentioned that there wasn't much information before that I could find on these, Gold Series metallic kits, I thought I'd show you the instruction sheet a little closer. And again, it's just a 2-pager, really simple. Not too many things to take care of, but very tricky, as I mentioned in the video, all the issues I had with it. And this is the full line over here, and you can see this is the yellow one I mentioned. I saw a picture of the cover for that one. There's 2 Bel Airs for some reason, and a bunch of flames on some of these kits over here. So it looks like there was only 7, but something you may want to seek out if that's your thing, to get them. So I did mull over my little problem there, and what I did was I figured, well, if I'm gonna put the tape on it, if that's the ultimate solution, I may as well try the the putty, and that's what I did. I just took some regular Bondo over here, um, made a mask around the area that I needed to basically fill in, put the Bondo, and sanded it a bit with the mask, and then put the Molotov chrome on it, and you know what, it's not too bad. So see if you can get a good close-up of that one. But yeah, see if it focuses. But again, it's a little more than I would have liked going downwards, but there was no choice. It's either that or a hole. So very happy with it. It's not really a model. It's a die cast. Basically, what it is, it's a die cast car that instead of the manufacturer put together, you put it together. So it's you would have gotten much more detail. Although it looks nice, there's more detail in a real model kit. So just to keep that in mind. So Nancy, I hope you'll like it. You'll be getting it soon. I don't think Pietro told you that he passed it on to me, and if you don't like the job, well then blame Pietro. So this is it. Now, the next kit will be something a little more traditional, or because I've done a few cars now, it won't be a car. That's all I'm going to say. Hope you enjoy.